Hey folks, welcome to the show. How you doing? Michael, we got a great show. First of all, great to be hosting the show with you for the next 2 weeks with Kelly being away. Great.
Yeah, I'm excited. You know what I mean? I love doing the Haunt Life Tonight show. Reapers Recalled, still kicking with that. But Kelly and Jen are on vacation. So you and I have had to put on our thinking caps and do this thing our style. And I think we put together a pretty decent show this week.
Which isn't any different because you've been involved from the beginning. It's not. It should have been the Todd, Kelly, and Michael show, but I don't know. Paul said to call it Todd and Kelly in the beginning. Whatever. Who cares? So we got some special guests tonight. Stuart from Stuartism Design, amazing chroma depth artist. Can't wait to hear what that crazy cat's up to. And who else we got?
Yeah, we got Randy Bates, one of the pioneers of the haunt industry in the state of Pennsylvania and in the United States. Owns Bates Motel. He's got a lot of really cool news, a lot of really good insight on a lot of things that are going on today. And when there's one guy that you want in this industry to be talking to, it's definitely Randy Bates. So we're glad to have him on the show with us today as well.
Yeah, and he just opened his escape rooms back up. So for all the guys in the escape room industry, pay attention. I'm sure he's going to share some tidbits on different ways he's dealing with opening to the public. So, hey, let's get to some breaking news.
Absolutely. So in today's breaking news, everyone keeps asking us, Todd, what's going on with Delirium?
Well, Delirium is done. Install is done. We're on to Scenic, adding our flair. Our Reapers touched everything. I'm very excited about the way things are looking. Up on the screen, people see the Delirium logo is completed. So we're starting to give little tidbits, but we ain't giving the whole thing away yet. We're going to make you wonder. We're still optimistic. We're going to open this year, but we're being very cautious, making sure we're being safe. And, we're either going to open it this year or next year. It's happening. But the 5th attraction at Reapers is done. So that's our big breaking news. Let's get to some special guests.
I love it. Let's do it.
Let's do it. We're back, folks. Man, we're excited today, aren't we, Michael? This is going to be fun. We got Stewie with us. Look at Stewie down there. That's the madman right there. As people are going to see up on the screen as we share some of Stuart's work. Wow, what an amazing chroma depth artist. Stuart, so excited to have you, man. And I want to jump right in with, how did you get started in doing chroma depth? Obviously you're an artist and you've been doing stuff for years, but what made you want to get into chroma depth and working in haunts?
Well, I started 25 years ago with laser tag arenas. So I've done 150 of those. I've covered about 3 million square feet. The time I've done our, working and stuff. And then when the laser tags started dying out, we were doing 25 a year, easy. And then all of a sudden I said, you know what, number one, I'm being really curtailed as what I can do because everybody's so worried about offending the customers. I would do these great big gigantic robots, with laser guns, but then they would have red eyes. And of course we know red eyes, that means demon. So I had to change the red eyes to blue eyes, and then I was cool. I was like, you know what, if I went to the haunted house, I wouldn't be curtailed so much. And then I'm glad I did. Our first haunted house was Nightmare Forest in Brandenburg, Kentucky.
Michael, go ahead, ask Stewie a question. Go. What do you got?
Hey, Stewie, you've been working across, haunts across the U.S. So, a lot of haunts on the Eastern Seaboard. How long have you actually been, how long was that transition and how long have you been doing the haunts now that you have that freedom, that ability to just paint what you want?
We did the laser tags for about 5 years and then scooted into the haunted houses. So I've been all over the world. So Malaysia, Hong Kong, China, Indonesia, Philippines. I got to ride in one of those whacked out cars hooked up to the motorcycles. That was a scary thing. And but a lot of the East Coast, and it's funny, it goes in spurts. One year I'll do a lot of East Coast and hardly anything down south. The next year, East Coast, nothing. Down south, out west. Like this year, I have 4 projects. I've already been to Texas once. I got to go down and do 2 more. And then November, I got to go down and do another one. So we got, Texas is the big state this year. So, who knows what happens next year. I may have to take a drive out to California. That does not sound exciting, but, the project's decent. So
how many times have you guys driven cross country?
Well, one year we did a laser tag in Philadelphia and then had to drive to Seattle, Washington to do another one. So wow. We have buried 4 cars. Okay. Each one with 200,000 plus on it. We just bought a brand new van. We've had it for 3 years. It's almost got 80,000 miles on it. And it may last another 2 years and we'll have to get another one. By the time we pay the thing off, we have to go get another vehicle.
Yeah. Well, I know you're coming up my way. You're coming up towards Reapers in the Binghamton area. You and I were talking this morning about stopping through and saying hello to your friend Todd as you go to Pure Terror Screen Park and see our friend Bob Narquist.
Yes.
So that's going to be neat.
We're going to do his black holes. We're going to do his spinning tunnel, some of the areas around it, and then I'm going to come in and do some distressing for him in some of his new haunts. So,
right now, speaking of haunts, give us a few haunts that you've worked at. Maybe some of the bigger projects you've worked at, and maybe your favorite project that you worked at. Obviously it's Reapers, but whatever. Okay.
Yeah, Reapers was cool. We enjoyed it at Reapers. But Sloss Freight Furnace in Birmingham, Alabama, that is our favorite place to be.
No kidding. Good.
It is a big pig iron factory. You don't have to do a lot to the thing to be scared. And so we've been working for those guys for almost 21 years.
Excellent. And I want to kind of wrap up with a little bit of talk about Stewardism Design, your brand, how you decided to go that route, and you promote like no other. I mean, you're on YouTube, you're sharing everything. You seem to be an open book with telling people, hey, try this, do this way. You give almost like a tutorial on how to do it. I just think it's great how you promote your brand. Tell me a little bit about what inspired you to do that.
When I started airbrushing, I made phone calls and emails and stuff, and nobody would help me. Nobody would give me information. I got snubbed by all these people I thought were pretty cool people. And it was like, are you that shallow that you think that one guy coming to you that's green around the ears is going to sit there and take all your business? So I vowed to my wife, me and my wife used to, when Melissa was first born, our youngest, we would just walk the driveway and talk about what we were going to do, because I was working at a camshaft factory and stuff, and I was trying to get information. Nobody'd help. So I said, hey, look, if we ever do this, I'm going to give the keys to the kingdom to whoever wants it. I got a lot of artists that contact me all the time from around the world, especially England and stuff, that are asking, hey, how can I do this? Where can I get that? How did you do this? And hey, look, check out this YouTube. I'm going to give you the formula. I'm going to give you this. And a lot of times it's like, especially for haunt owners, they're like, hey, thanks for all the information. Why don't you just come down and do it? All right. Rather than, because we're trying to get the place open. I don't want to have to sit there and start learning something right now. We're 6 weeks out. Just come down and take care of it. But for a lot of them, and you just got to think about it. I'm not going to be around forever. Somebody's going to have to take up the mantle of doing 3D. I mean, I can't keep on driving. My eyeballs are going bad. it's all sorts of things. I'm 51 years old, and I enjoy what I'm doing. I mean, we're trying to get that stewardism.shop going, so we're taking our artwork and putting it on printed materials and stuff. We're hoping that will take off a little bit to offset me not traveling so much.
Mm-hmm. Right. What about formulating like your own version of masterclass as how to airbrush?
Yes, I'm going to. I got contacted by that. I'm working on some videos for that. The project I just completed a project for Dark Matter out of Rochester, and so I went over I'm starting to go over how I do this, how I come up with ideas. This particular one, I did do sketches for the client, which I normally don't do. Normally I walk into a place and just create off this cuff. And I can do that because while I was working at the Camshaft factory, I filled sketchbooks. I have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of drawings that I did while my wife and I would watch Star Trek. And I was working 13, 14 hours a day at the Camshaft factory, had X amount of time at home. And I filled sketchbooks till I could actually have my dream of, hey, look, if I paint, I could make money and eat and stuff, which was kind of nice, you know? So, and we've been blessed too. I mean, with the place here, I mean, I got a 3,000 square foot studio, 27 foot tall ceilings. I'm going to do some, Todd's been there.
Yeah.
It's a really nice place. It's right in the backyard. Grab a cup of coffee and go. I just did those panels for Dark Matter, and they picked them up on Friday. And I've had a lot of problems with trucking companies destroying my panels. So, just say, hey, look, for those who are willing, save some money, come on out, pick up the panels yourself. That way, the trucking companies, I had one trucking company just tossing them off the truck because they thought they were just glue on.
Yeah, I picked up, a year and a half ago, I picked up 80 panels from you.
Uh-huh.
So that was good. And you've done work at a couple of my haunts now. Obviously my Reapers artwork is my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
No, Stuart, thank you so much for being on with us today. We just can't say enough great things about Stuartism design, and your artwork's top of the industry, bro. And I'm a huge fan, and anytime we can promote for you and your family to let people know about your artwork, I mean, you're a gem in the industry, and thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, now get out of here.
All right, take care. You guys have a great day.
Hey, Haunt Life Tonight fans. We got a special guest with us right now. Look down there. That's Randy Bates from Bates Motel. Thanks, Randy, for coming in today. How are you, my friend?
Todd, thanks for having me. I'm doing well.
That's great. So Michael and I have been, we got so many questions we want to ask you. I mean, how many years has Bates been there now? Have you broke 30?
This will be our 30th season.
That's what I thought, because I think you were on year 27 when you were on Legendary Haunt Tour, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, we had the pleasure of being your opening night act at Reapers. I think Randy had a little bit of doing in that, saying, hey, some guys over here are kind of doing something cool. Go there.
That's right. That was a fun year. And then we were there, geez, I think 4 or 5 years before that ever happened, before Haunt Tour ever happened. We were already
Yeah. So with that in mind, Randy, let's talk about how did you get started, your interest in haunting, and did you have the property? What happened?
Yeah, basically, I grew up on the farm. It was a family farm, and went off to college, moved out, got married, started having kids, and then '82, my dad died. My mom said, you got to move back and help us. So I moved back on the farm, and I always had an entrepreneurial spirit. I always had side jobs, different businesses, things like that. It's kind of a passion of mine. So in 1990, one of my neighbors was doing a haunted walkthrough for a charity. Just one night a year. He had like 5,000 people came through that Saturday before Halloween, and they destroyed his property. So he said, I'm not doing it anymore. So, my passion really wasn't Halloween and things like that, but I love scaring people, and I love jerking people's chains. And that's what we do in this business. We screw with people's minds. So I decided, we've been doing hay rides for groups to bonfires and things like that. So we already had the tractors and wagons. I said, hey, you know what? Instead of doing a walkthrough, let's do a haunted hay ride. And I had no idea that there was anybody else out there doing haunted hay rides. That was like totally evolved in a vacuum. And that was 1991. And by 1995, we went to the Trans World Trade Show, and I took a bunch of courses, a bunch of seminars on haunted houses. We came back and we built the Bates Motel haunted house. And it was a little odd at the beginning because people weren't really into that. They would make the hayride. And we designed it so that we loaded people in the back of the house, and when they came out the front into the courtyard. So other people in the courtyard see these people running out of the haunted house, yelling and screaming and having fun. I gave away a lot of free tickets that first year to really get the thing going, and it worked. In 2000, we decided we wanted to upgrade and add another attraction, so we put in a haunted trail in a cornfield. And this was really one of the, it was a great idea. I spent about $10,000, and we only charged $5 a person to go through it. We had 25,000 people go through that first year. So that's a pretty good return on investment there.
Yeah, the ROI isn't bad there.
Yeah.
So
that's how we got started, you know?
Yeah. So, I mean, speaking of your proximity to a very large city, which helps, or, we kind of want to know the pros and cons of being so close to Philadelphia.
Well, obviously, the area we're in is in a very wealthy part of the suburbs. M. Night Shyamalan lives about 5 miles from us.
Wow.
Some of the Phillies baseball players live next door to us. So our farm is surrounded by a pretty wealthy section of the population. Being close to Philly, you've got a lot of traffic coming out. We draw a lot from New Jersey. Probably about 35% of our here. Come on now.
Yeah, we hear you.
You hear me? Yeah, I got this update thing on my computer. I'm trying to get it off there. I hate when it does the automatic updates. Yeah. So anyway, about 30% of our customers come from New Jersey. We draw a lot from Delaware. We actually even draw a lot from New York City, which is really amazing.
Right.
I got one couple that comes up every year from Florida, and they drive up and they do all the places. I'm sure they've probably even been to your place. But they come up and they spend the whole month touring haunted attractions. It's really cool. They always come over and they hand me something, a bottle of booze or a hat or a T-shirt or something. It's pretty neat. Being near large city I think it definitely helps our attendance numbers. Sure.
Excellent. Well, I appreciate that insight to that. And I guess the next question, I'm going to let Michael take over after this. The one last question, as a current board member of the Haunted Attraction Association, you were basically one of the founding board members and kind of saw it as it evolved over the years to what it is now. Tell me a little bit about your history with the Haunted Attraction Association, or what it was back then and evolved to that I'm currently on.
Sure. Well, when I first started going to Transworld, there was a lot of it was a different atmosphere. People weren't really interested in helping each other. It was, any information you can get from somebody else was like a little secret thing, and nobody, if a competitor walked by, everybody shut up, and it was very secretive, and everybody wanted to keep their little their plans to themselves. And I've always been one to reach out and help people, and I guess it's just my nature. I don't know, but I've had a lot of people, ask me, how do you do this? Where do you buy that? What kind of insurance do you use? And I've always been able to sit down and tell them, even my closest competitors, and that's shown with our 13th Haunts group. And the whole mentality, and I'm not going to say it was me, but the whole mentality of the haunted attraction industry started to evolve and change. When I saw all these people, now we're starting to get together. We're doing, large buys. People are sharing ideas, especially in this day and age with this damn virus that's going on. We need to all share ideas and figure out how we can all open. And God damn it, I hate to say it, but we're all in this together, and I hate that saying. It drives me nuts.
Yeah.
You know what? This is what we're doing, and that's the biggest thing I see with the associations is that it brought out a lot more information, especially the safety stuff. I wrote the code compliance for haunted houses for Pennsylvania State Inspectors course, and I wrote that, and then the HHA kind of came over, or HAA, and came over and borrowed that, and they give that still to their seminars in Transworld.
Right.
And it's basically my PowerPoint, but I'm sure it's been revised over the years.
Yeah, but I couldn't agree more. The chaos training, fire safety, I mean, that's how I got involved with HAA. Obviously, I've been a haunter, I think, professionally now 12 years, and did home haunts before that. But been a haunt owner now for 12 years. And, when I got approached about HAA, it was to promote accessibility in it because of my background starting a non-for-profit fundraiser haunt. To help people with disabilities was my first haunt. And, so it was, again, to give back to the industry. So I couldn't agree with you more. So with that being said, Michael, I've been doing a lot of talking because I'm excited to have Randy here. Talk to Randy a little bit. Ask him some questions.
No, I do. I mean, and Randy, you already brought up, the big C, coronavirus. Right now, 2020, we are on the verge of, we don't even know. Everything is so far up in the air, from our personal lives to our businesses to how we're going to do things. We already saw Eastern State Penitentiary as the first haunt in our area to drop the big bomb that they are not opening. Where are you guys currently standing with Bates Motel, the escape rooms? Where are you guys currently headed, and what's your insight on that?
Well, we've done a lot of thinking about this. Actually, as we speak, I'm planning my son's planning the corn maze today. We're also doing a sunflower field for the daytime activities. People can come out and get their pictures taken in the sunflower field. So we're moving ahead. The big thing that really, bothers me is this is our 30th season. We had huge plans to rebuild a lot of stuff, to change a lot of things, spend a lot of money. I mean, upwards probably to $500,000 to renovate the place, really do some cool stuff. And there's no way we could do that at this point, not knowing if we were even going to open. Some of the plans we have, it's going to be impossible to social distance on a hayride, so we may change that to a walkthrough. We talked about doing a drive-through where customers could actually drive their cars through, but that's just, the liability of that would be ridiculous.
Yeah, you need like safari insurance.
Right. So talking about doing a walkthrough there, we could obviously do the walkthrough in the corn maze. Social distancing in the queue lines would be difficult, so we'd go to a time ticketing system. People could wait in their cars. They get a text when it's time their turn to come in. The Bates Motel haunted house, we talked about, allowing family groups or people that have quarantined but together to go through as a group. The next group that would go in, you tell them, hey, you got to stay at least 6 feet behind the people in front of you.
Right.
What's cool about that is it would actually make it easier for the scares, the actions to reset. You're not going to have that big conga line, and you might be able to actually get a better throughput in that way. The other thing we were talking about doing is obviously reducing the number of actors, but the actors going to all masks, no more makeup. So now I'm going to save about $10,000 or more in makeup and makeup artists. And also in the Bates Motel, a lot of the scares might be behind a window or a door or something like that, where we can actually put a plexiglass shield up. I've got one scene that's in a wine cellar, and there's a bar there, and I could put a piece of plexiglass across there, almost do like one of those ghost effects where you have the light on the outside, not the inside. All of a sudden, the lights switch. You get the actor right there in the customer's face, and you bang on the plexiglass and get the scare.
Yeah, you were telling me about that hologram idea the other day. That's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say much more. 2020 has been a year, of a lot of people's with big plans. Unfortunately, have been squashed. I mean, your 30th, Reaper's just on the brink of a 5th attraction now. Even in personal lives, we've been planning so many different things, and everything is kind of at a pause. You know what I mean? So that's one of the big things. We're at the beck and call of the Commonwealth at this point, and I mean,
Right.
you know, you have worked with the Commonwealth before. You've worked with the city, the HHA, the HAA, you know, to do all this stuff. So hearing your perspective and hearing your optimism, I think, is a lot of things a lot of haunters need to hear right now. Because I know for sure, myself and Todd, you know, we've been talking about it left and right, and you know, we're just like, hey, we're gonna keep working like we're gonna open. If we can open, you know, we're doubly prepared for 2021, which is a good thing. But I haven't experienced a fall without a haunt season in over a decade. I don't know what I would do for September and October.
No, me neither. I
Well,
mean,
see the leaves changing color.
yeah, you start smelling that fall air. And unfortunately, Randy, we paid for our new 5th attraction before the New Year's. So why it's either opening this year or next year.
I understand. Well, I pre-purchased quite a bit of about $20,000 worth of props to pick up at Transworld and from Poison Props, and they shipped all those props to St. Louis, paid the unions to unload the trucks and store them, and then they had to pay the unions to load the trucks back up, ship it back to California, and then he had to separate the stuff and ship it to me. And you know, I feel real bad for Adam. He's a good guy. He's got a great product, and but you know, I've got 15 animatronics that I bought that are sitting down there. We're going to install, obviously.
Right.
The escape rooms and laser tag we reopened last weekend, last Friday night, and the tickets went on sale a week ago Monday, and we did probably almost $2,000 worth of sales on last weekend, which isn't bad for being open or being closed for 3 months.
No. And you've got an incredible facility. You got an. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to give you a chance to talk about the incredible facility and how you got started with that. I mean, we came down and we beta tested your games in the beginning, and I was blown away. I remember saying to you, I brought down some ideas, and after I saw your stuff, I was like, yeah, you can have my ideas for free. I can't sell them.
Gotta step it up, right? You know what? I would say that Jubies from Headless Horseman really are the ones that pushed us into doing the escape rooms, and they were adamant. You gotta get into this escape rooms gig. You know, it's easy money. It's you know, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot less stressful than the haunted attraction industry is, and because of the way our business is and where my personality is, we kind of went way overboard, as you saw those escape rooms. Instead of, you know, they tell me, you know, $5-10 grand, you can open up an escape room. And well, for me, it was 150 grand.
Yes,
that's just our nature. We want to go big or go home. That's always I've always said.
And, you went big, my friend. You went big.
Yeah. Thanks, I appreciate that. So anyway, we reopened, and what we've done is I got a product called QT3. It's a disinfectant specifically for viruses and things like that. There's an Avenger application system. You hang this device on the wall, you put your little jug of disinfectant in, and you hook it up to a cold water hose, and you push a button and fill up your sprayer, and it puts out exactly the correct amount of disinfectant. And it's about $300 will give you 1,000 gallons of spray, which is quite a bit.
Wow.
The system that you have to do is you spray down things where people normally touch. So door handles, you know, some of the games, you know, the chairs where they're sitting in, things like that. You let it sit for 5 minutes, and then you wipe it down with a damp cloth. You do that at the end of the day. Between each game for the escape rooms, we have Lysol spray, I have disinfectant spray. I have Clorox wipes. We'll wipe down different things where people are touching. I have a UV wand, so it's an ultraviolet wand, and it you basically run it over top of like my chessboard game, things like that. You do it for about 10 seconds over each of these games. It totally disinfects it, and you let your customers know I'm disinfecting this escape room between each group. So, and then for our laser tag, we spread, instead of having a 15-minute break between parties, we made it a half-hour break so we can go through and disinfect the laser tag arena. All the guns, all the headbands, the iPads that you sign in with, everything gets wiped down between each session. So we're doing a lot to, really disinfect everything and promote it. The other thing is that I added a whole COVID-19 section to our waiver for liability reasons. So when and I have waivers that they can go onto the iPad and sign virtually there, or they can actually do it before when they buy their tickets. And it's all virtual, clever waiver. I think it's like $20 a month. So that's what we're doing for that. For the haunt, obviously we're going to be, have dedicated people to disinfect stuff. Going to be wiping down the porta potties as much as we can. Providing hand sanitizer stations, hand wash stations, promoting people, asking them to, social distance and to, do all the crap they're telling you to, basically trying to just be as safe as possible.
Right.
I mean, that's crucial. That's absolutely crucial. I mean, I'm trying to figure out, the protocols, for doing the actual haunt, the hayride, that portion of it. I mean, there's definitely a lot of hurdles to overcome. But I mean, I know we've talked a lot about coronavirus, and I mean, that's one of the things that's kind of dampening everybody's spirit right now. I do have a fun question that I've been wanting to ask you for a while. Ever since the first time I came to your haunt, because you're one of the only haunts I can even remember as of right now that actually has a scene with dinosaurs. And, I remember as a kid when Jurassic Park had just come out, there was these dino things that you can go and check out at the museums and whatnot. But you have a full-fledged dinosaur scene from that era. How did that come to be? You're building a haunted house and you got velociraptors and all that. I love it. No one else has it.
Well, it's funny. Again, getting back to Poison Props, it was about 5 or 6 years ago. He had a giant T-Rex head. It was totally animated. It came out and does the whole thing. And we always would go over on the last day of the show and see what's available. Get some deals. Buy some stuff off the floor. As everybody knows in this industry, there's a lot of companies out there that. They're a little slow in shipping products out. There's a couple of them that I got my $10,000 or $15,000 order in November after the season. So anyway, Adam had this real cool T-Rex, and it was normally $5,000. He knocked it down to $2,500, just trying to get rid of it so I didn't have to ship it back to California. I said, well, I'll buy this. Can I get another one at the same price? He's like, I don't know. And then another friend of mine, Rodney, he comes over. If you can get 2 more at the same price. So we bought 4 of these things at $25 at half price. So, with the hayride, I always like to do scares on both sides of the wagon because you hate to, you got to figure out how you're going to get everybody.
Yeah.
So, and I always had this idea. I mean, I have this book with ideas written down in it for years. And one of my ideas was basically a canyon, a rock wall canyon with a rock monster that comes to life, and that's what was the whole idea behind that Jurassic Park scene. So you're coming in, you're going into basically a cavern, and you got these dinosaurs that are coming out, and you got these 25-foot walls and big waterfalls, and my animated rock monster that my son built. Volcanoes and fire and all that good stuff.
Love it. I love it.
That's incredible.
I always try to be original. I want to do something different than what everybody else is doing. And it gets really difficult, trying to come up with new ideas. But it is the way it is.
Oh, yeah. The dinosaur succeeded for me. I loved it. I thought it was awesome.
Well, with that being said, guys, we could talk to Randy all day long. But Randy, thank you for being a legend in our industry, somebody that has helped us immensely at Reapers as we built over the years. You have been an open book, and the way you advocate for the industry, thank you, my friend.
Yeah,
thanks for being on Haunt Life tonight.
And one thing I do want to bring up is, the 13 Haunts Group's a good bunch of guys and smart businessmen and women. And I'm fortunate to be part of the America Haunts group, which is like 13 haunts, but on a national stage. And one of our members out in Texas is working on the COVID protocol for the haunted attraction industry, and he's putting together all kinds of stuff. He's been downloading documents from Disneyland and from some of the big amusement parks for their liability waivers, for their how they're going to handle this opening up this fall and things like that. So there is a group of people that are diligently working on how to approach this virus and how we can open up and be safe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've got hundreds of pages of stuff. I mean, I've grabbed Disney's, IAPA's. Spencer Terry out at Fear Factory did a great 60-page, and they opened for halfway to Halloween. We should definitely network and share. I'm fine with putting it out on the show, links to any of the PDFs to help any haunt. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah. Well, thank you again, my friend. Awesome having you on the show, and we will see you later.
All right, Todd. Michael, take care.
Cheers. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Reaper's Revenge Recalled. I'm your host, Michael Bellardi, and I am unfortunately not joined by my co-host, Jen Marino, this week or next week. She's actually on vacation out with her family, enjoying, hopefully, a very COVID-free, relaxing environment. So today, you just get me. Next week, we have some cool things coming up, which I'm really excited for. We'll have some guests on this segment. But today, I decided that I'm going to do something a little bit different. To keep it nice, short, and sweet, seeing as to how we had two really good interviews with the Haunt Life Tonight show tonight. So, we're going to do what I call Reaper's Revenge Recalled Roulette. What that is I'm going to I clicked on 186 photos that are hidden in the depths of the Reaper's Revenge archives. These are the photos that the staff takes. These are the photos, the memories, the different things. A lot of the photos you don't get to see as a customer. So I'm going to just kind of open them up here, and we're going to just play roulette, and I'll tell you a little bit of a backstory about each one of them, some of the fun things you're going to see, and maybe even I'll allude to some other stories that happen up on the mountain. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right in. This is a fun photo. This is Travis Road. He's one of the owners of Reaper's Revenge, and this is the face he makes when he goes, "Oh God, what do I do now?" And that us as managers, myself, Jen, a lot of the managers on the mountain, we see this face, and we usually kind of go, does he need help, or do we run for the hills too? Love this photo. We kind of, anytime he enters the room, he's usually carrying a Monster Energy drink, and then we usually put him in a funny hat, and then we see where he goes from there. Believe it or not, coronavirus has made Travis Road look significantly different nowadays. I don't have a photo to prove it, but he's got this long goatee. All right, we're still moving here. This is actually, go back. There we go. This is actually a photo of Mike Leone. He's one of our makeup artists, and sometimes we sucker him into acting for us. But he's actually wearing one of the old cuts, one of the old Reaper's Revenge hoodies with one of the old threads that we used to have back in the day. Now, let's keep moving here. We're going to just let it fly and click. Alexis. Alexis is a new actress with us. She came with us last year, and she is the sweetest girl on the planet. Her father brings her up here every night, and her father actually works up near Sector 13, often kind of helping us out with a little bit of security, manning some of the other things that we have going up on the mountain. She is an absolute joy. Love having her on board. Prime example of, a young girl showing up, wanting to be part of something cool, and makes a whole new family and friends out of it. And the cool thing is her father participates with her too. So you really can't beat that. It is just so neat. Let's see what else we got here. This is a photo of Jen and Kelly. We often, actually, you can see like my boot and my foot on the left-hand side here. We get to go and see haunts on nights that Reaper's is closed. So typically the first weekend, we're closed that Sunday, and we will venture out and go see another haunt. There are a lot of haunts in bigger demographics closer to the metropolitan areas that have shows on Thursdays. So we will typically go out on a Thursday and see another haunt. Last year we did, I can't remember the name of this haunt for the life of me, and I apologize, guys. My brain is not firing. I still have Corona brain. But we go out and we see a lot of haunts across the three states, the big three states nearby. All right, here we go. What else do we got? This is actually another photo that goes with it, us being silly. You got Steve Diaz, you got Kendra, you got the whole crew here. Everybody's here. I actually don't know who this is. And it's because I don't hang out in the makeup area anymore. But obviously this is kind of like a take on Dorothy and our talented makeup team. This is when they were starting to get into prosthetics. You can actually see the prosthetic on the forehead. I really hope this is a take on Dorothy and not Alice. But if I'm wrong, it certainly would not be the first time. That's for sure. What else do we got here? My buddy Nathan Duval, everybody. Nathan was actually on the show a few weeks ago. This is what he looks like, I believe, after working at Sector 13. Yeah, he's wearing the scrubs. So, one of the photos, we're all normal humans here, guys. All normal people. We just like to have some fun in the wood. But this is the aftermath. He's probably walking up after the last hour of the day and getting ready to be done. This is Kelly, one of our friendly trips out into the world doing other things. Somehow he ended up with a balloon hat. I don't know who let him have a balloon hat, but all the power to him. Another big spin here, big spin. Where do we land? Jorge. Jorge is actually an actor that's been with us now. I believe he's going on 4 years. And he's worked with us at Slaughter. He's worked with us at the Elevator inside of Pitch Black. He's an all-arounder. The only place that I don't think he's worked is actually my attraction, Sector 13. And then we have a couple of the other gentlemen here from Slaughter scene as well. Here's Jorge again. This is what I mean. Jorge has worked across the mountain. A lot of the actors take pride in getting that 4-badge stamp. You know what I mean? Being able to say that they've worked in all 4 attractions. But I will say this. There is now 5th attractions, and there is not any actor yet that has been able to work across all 5 attractions. And we're not supporting that. Another spin. Here we go. Let's land, and boom. Security Shack. I believe this is Brandon Spears. It is Brandon Spears. So Security Shack, this is, you can see there's a little bit of image of Ron Burgundy in the back there, some other stuff going on. We actually didn't do this to the eyes of these posters. Believe it or not, Brandon, we had a really slow, rainy night one night, and Brandon kind of just sat up there with a marker, and he did that to the eyes. And we looked at it. We were like, it's actually kind of cool. It's actually kind of creepy. And then Kelly started jumping in and doing it too, so it turned into a whole bunch of fun. All right, guys, we're going to give it one last spin here. Like I said, I want to keep the show short today because we have such a long, interesting Haunt Life Tonight show. Another spin and stop. We've seen this photo before. This is the crew, part of the teardown crew. This is always a sad but yet happy day for us. It's a bittersweet day. This is taking down the disco ball. Taking down the disco ball is the big sign that we have closed for the season. We've wrapped for the year. Everybody made it in one piece, and we're finishing up. This is Mike Leone right here with Mike Heffner, Andy Gregory, Matthew Adams, and then, of course, the beloved Kelly Michael up here up top taking it down. And like I said, it's a bittersweet scenario, but it gets the job done, and we just get excited to start building things for the following year. So, guys, I was glad that I could show you some stuff from the archives. I know today's show was a little bit short, but we really spent so much time on interviews and having some fun during Haunt Life Tonight as well. So next week we have a pretty awesome scenario. We're actually going to talk to the Hillbillies out of character. Now, a lot of people will argue that the Hillbillies are really just the characters themselves. They are who they are, but I know them a little bit better than that. And we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty in the story of how the Hillbillies came to be, where they came from, and why are they roaming around the mountain now. So thank you, everybody. Really appreciate it. Back to me and Todd at the studio, right? Yes. Later.
And we're back.
I mean, listen, man. Our two guests, Stu, Randy. I mean, those guys really are. I mean, for me, they're older. They're the older generation of this industry, and they just have so much insight, so many good qualities and traits. And the one thing that I love about the two of them is that they take what they love, what they do, and they take all of their talents, and they don't keep it to themselves. They share it.
Both of them were saying that.
Yeah, it's just, and that's a really cool thing, to be good at something and be willing to help teach people how to do it. I mean, to me, that defines a very successful artist, a very successful entrepreneur, business owner, and overall just a very good human.
I couldn't agree more. And a great job on Reaper's Recalled tonight. Love what you're doing over there.
We're having some fun.
I mean, yeah, it's just this was a really cool episode. I mean, this is episode 22. Wow. Who would have thought this little idea we had back in March would have gone to this?
Yeah, right.
Whatever. Episode 22 in the books. I'll tell you what, 23 is coming up. Michael Jordan.
This is what happens when you trap a bunch of haunters inside their houses.
Yeah. Well, that and a bunch of other stuff that we can't talk about on camera.
Nope.
Okay. All right, folks. We'll see you next week. Later.
You still here? It's over. Go home. Go. And get off my lawn.